moment, in this life, we only have some intimation of it. St. Paul talks about that in this life. We sort of see, we're like people who are looking into a glass or a mirror, and we only see a sort of a dim reflection. Yeah. But in the future, we'll see face to face. We'll see clearly.
Importantly, the idea of an afterlife, it's not even testable.
Yeah.
So in the absence of evidence, you have to go with what we would call the null hypothesis, which is nothing is going on, there is nothing there. So yeah, it really just comes down to that. There is no evidence, therefore in the absence of that evidence, I have to concede that there is nothing there.
I wouldn't say everybody could become a medium,
Yeah.
because you have to have a degree of sensitivity. There has to be that natural sensitivity about them. I think more people could be a medium, or they have mediumistic abilities, very much so.
So what is an afterlife? For example, the Christian faith believe in the idea of heaven and hell. Heaven is said to be seen as life's supreme reward, and that heaven awaits the elect, those who have earned their salvation in this life. Hell is seen as a place where people who freely and definitively separate themselves from God endure horrific punishments. For this documentary, I'm going to speak with various different people who I think will offer me an interesting insight into the idea of life after death, and hopefully they'll help me to explore why some people choose to believe that there may be an afterlife. I've arranged to talk to Sarah Shaw, who is a psychic medium, because I am interested in finding out more about her supposed ability to be able to contact the dead and find out more about her work.
A medium is someone who talks to spirit. So the energies of a person who have passed over, so someone who's died, their energy that they lived with, that was in their body, has gone into the ether, into the universe, and basically is that energy that I'm communicating with. Before a session and after a session, I do it with all my, even when I do card readings and healing as well. It's really important to get rid of and to cleanse your room of any residue energy. Okay, so what you can do, you can either use a singing bowl, which they come in all shapes and sizes, and you hold it out on your flat of your palm, and it comes with a stick. You just start.
Alright.
I've always been able to feel spirit around me, although I was quite scared of it as a child, and I think most kids are, really, to be fair. And spirit, just as an aside thing, spirit do respect that, and if you tell them to go away, they will.
So you said from a young age you could sort of like sense these spirits.
Yes.
Could someone maybe be taught or learn how to contact with spirits? Or do you think it has to come from...
At the end of the day, if the person is willing and they want to develop skills, and they have to understand it's not an exact science. It's not like Newtonian physics, going out, getting something, bringing it back, opening a book, learning, things like that. When you're doing medium work or any energy work, it's quantum physics. That's what you're working with. So and when you're dealing with spirits, it's not an exact science, so you can't guarantee at a sitting, oh yeah, I'll definitely get such and such through. You can't guarantee it, because they might not be around. They live on in the afterlife, so they have other jobs to do.
When you contact these spirits, have you ever seen where they actually maybe exist? They're still like on Earth, like are they still here, or is there another plane?
Yeah. Well, there's lots of different levels, and mainly spirits, sort of, there is the spiritual level, which is existing all around us. It's wherever energy is, spirits can be. Energy of sound helps to dissipate energy as well, and again they come in all shapes and sizes. Always very good to open up a window as well after a session, just to allow fresh air to come in and to clear out any energies.
A lot of people skeptic of mediums, they say it's like not true and it's fake, and you're maybe maybe some people say you're taking advantage of these people. How would you respond to that? How would you try and maybe persuade that it might be real and they should open up their minds to maybe...
I wouldn't want
this
to
world?
try and change anybody's opinion.
Oh, right,
At the end of the day, I've had skeptics come to me, and that's fine. I welcome people because my job is to prove an existence after, and it comforts people to know that their loved ones are around. It comforts people to know that there is an afterlife.
I think it would be easy for someone to dismiss Sarah's medium work, so I was pleased Sarah was so open about it. Sarah told me a lot about mediumship that I didn't know before. I have arranged to speak with a local vicar who will hopefully give me an insight into what Christians believe happens when someone passes.
The centre of the church, all churches, is the altar, and it is at this place that we break bread and bless wine. The centre of the Christian faith is variously known as Holy Communion or Eucharist or the Lord's Supper. And I have the huge privilege as a priest of presiding at that meal, and of breaking the bread and the blessing the wine and the sharing of it with the people. So the altar is an incredibly precious and holy point for us. This is where we feel that God very much comes and touches us in a very palpable, physical way.
Might sound a bit simple, but could you just explain to me what heaven and hell is, as best as you can?
Yeah. I think when people talk about heaven and hell, so often the picture they have is of a place.
Yeah.
The language we use is always about a place. Heaven is above us. Hell is below us. We perhaps think of it being heaven being a place of, in the clouds, or hell being fire. But that's very poetic language. And although we use the language of place, I don't think that's what either heaven or hell is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Music and art have always been very much part of how people experience and want to express faith. That we often use words, but so many people are not wordy people, they're visual people, or musical people, or dance. It's the expressive arts which so often allow people to express their sense of joy and peace and all the other emotions in life. And churches should be places where where the arts are richly celebrated. I believe that heaven is being completely enveloped, caught up in the love of God. Christians say that God is love. That's the sort of definition of God.
Yeah.
And heaven is fully present, fully part of the love of God. And I suppose, therefore, that hell would be the opposite of that. Classically, you're right, heaven and hell have been described in very visual, graphic terms. In the last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation, there are extraordinary pictures of the end of time and of God's judgment, and very extraordinarily graphic pictures. And that has very much influenced Christian art through the century.
Is it possible for maybe a Christian to maybe not believe in the traditional idea of heaven and hell, or maybe not even at all, or is that?
No, I think heaven is absolutely essential to an understanding of what it means to be a Christian.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Absolutely essential. And I do believe, and what I've said about heaven being God's love, absolutely is central to the scriptural understanding of what God and heaven is about.
Being an atheist, I don't follow any religion, but I thought if I'm going to be looking at the afterlife, I should discover more about one of the most popular depictions, heaven and hell. It was interesting hearing about it and the way the idea of heaven and hell has been depicted by Christians over time. I have planned to speak with a man named Francis Dugan, who has been studying biology and zoology for the last 4 years at Bristol University. I want to get a perspective on life after death from someone who may be sceptical of the idea.
What do you think happens to a person when they die?
Personally, I think nothing. You die, nothing happens. I base that on thermodynamics, really. All living things require energy. We are information processing machines. That is what an organism is at its very core. And information processing requires energy. So once you die and there's no more input of energy, that's it. You can't information process. Therefore, to me, it just makes no sense that there could be anything else beyond that.
Do you think more people need to be told about the scientific background?
Of course, I'm not going to blame. I mean, the majority of people in the world don't have access to certain education and stuff, so you're not going to point my finger and say, you know. But no, I think absolutely it does hold us back. Belief in things without evidence, which is really what this comes down to, but what the evidence is for.
You could say the afterlife, or the fact that people say, oh, you go to this place when you die. It's almost like a coping mechanism.
Absolutely, yeah. For a lot of people, I'm sure there are other reasons. I'm sure there are different tribes and things like that that have a very different way of dying, because obviously we're in the Western world with traditional kind of Abrahamic religious views of these things.
What is your opinion on people who claim and make a profit off of being able to contact spirits, like mediums or clairvoyants? What do you feel about them?
Frankly, I would say very few of them are honest. I think the vast majority, I would go to say to 80 to 90% of them, know full well that they are lying. It's outright fraud. I would also go as far as to say that it's borderline psychological abuse. They prey on people at their weakest when we're in grieving. That's when we are at our weakest, is when we make silly decisions.
Yeah.
I would give everything I had if I believed the tiniest amount that I could speak to my mother or anyone, my grandpa, anyone who's died. So they prey on that. They know that they will give anything and all their time to that sort of thing. There are so many reasons why people hold on to these beliefs, ranging from social to economic to just this. It's endless why people believe in these things.
I could see how passionate Francis was about what I was asking, and I appreciated how dedicated he was about answering each question. I feel that some people would be hesitant discussing a sensitive topic. Luckily, Francis wasn't. When I started making the documentary, I wanted to explore what other people thought about the afterlife. It may sound cowardly, but my intentions were never to explore my own belief, but to expose my audience to the many different ways we may interpret a broad concept or idea like the existence of an afterlife.